Rest in provision. Trust that the universe is working. Have you ever felt exhausted from trying to make everything happen on your own? You pray, you plan, you push, and still, nothing seems to move. But what if the very thing you're waiting for is already being arranged, quietly, beyond your sight? The night was never meant to be a time of fear. It was designed as a sacred pause, a moment when heaven whispers, "Now, let me take over." While you sleep, the same intelligence that turns seeds into forests and stars into light continues weaving the details of your destiny. You don't need to chase what's already on its way. You don't need to control what's already under divine orchestration. Tonight, your only task is to rest in faith, to believe that the universe, God, love itself, is still awake and working for your good. So take a deep breath. Let go of the weight you've been carrying. And remember, sometimes the greatest act of faith is simply to rest. Faith works while you sleep. When the world grows silent, heaven begins to move. The stillness of night is not emptiness. It is the sacred space where faith takes over what effort cannot reach. Many people believe that when the day ends, everything stops. But the truth is, when your body rests, your spirit begins to work with divine intelligence. While you sleep, the invisible continues its quiet choreography, aligning events, people, and opportunities in ways your mind could never calculate. For he gives to his beloved even in their sleep. Psalm 127. This verse is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual law. Faith is never idle. It continues working even when your conscious mind lets go. Spiritual neuroscience reveals that the subconscious remains fully active during rest. When you drift into deep sleep, your brain shifts into slower waves, the theta and delta states, where imagination and belief take root. This is the field where divine creation happens. Whatever emotion or thought you hold before you sleep becomes the instruction your subconscious carries into the night. When fear dominates those final moments of wakefulness, the body releases cortisol, the hormone of control and anxiety. But when trust takes its place, when you whisper, "God, I surrender this to you," the body begins to heal. Cortisol lowers, regeneration activates, the parasympathetic system awakens. Peace becomes a biological prayer. The moment you decide to rest in faith, you invite the divine to do what your logic cannot. You step aside, allowing the sacred current of life to organize what seemed chaotic. Real stories echo this mystery. A woman once shared that she had been drowning in bills and fear. That night, she decided to stop worrying. She prayed, "Lord, I can't see the way, but I trust you're working." The next morning, an old friend, whom she hadn't spoken to in years, called offering her a freelance opportunity that covered every expense. Another man said he had prayed for a new direction in life. He didn't receive a loud answer, just a dream. In that dream, he saw a small shop with a golden sign. When he woke, he felt guided to take a walk downtown. There it was, the exact same shop, hiring. Coincidence or divine timing revealing itself in rest? The universe works in ways that human effort cannot predict. Faith is not passive. It is a quiet participation with divine intelligence. So tonight, don't let your pillow become a battlefield of worry. Let it become an altar of trust. Before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and say gently, "Lord, I release my worries. Work in the unseen for me." Repeat it until your breath softens, until your chest rises not from fear, but from surrender. Feel your body remembering safety. your subconscious will begin to associate night with peace, not anxiety. This simple ritual becomes what psychologists call an anchor, a subconscious signal that tells your mind, I am safe, I am provided for, I can let go. Over time, this nightly act reshapes your inner reality. You begin to wake up lighter, clearer, and more receptive to the flow of divine provision. Think of faith as a seed. You plant it before nightfall, with prayer, with surrender, and then you rest. You don't dig it up every hour to see if it's growing. You trust the process of unseen growth. While you sleep, heaven waters your seed with grace. So tonight, resist the urge to plan every detail of tomorrow. Rest in the knowing that God is already arranging the pieces, even the ones that seem missing. The same power that sustains galaxies sustains your story too. Close your eyes, breathe in peace, and whisper one last truth to your soul. Faith doesn't sleep. It simply continues to work through my rest. Sleep in trust. The universe is still awake. Surrender is not giving up. It's trusting divine synchronicity. We live in a world that worships control. We're taught to plan every move, to fight every uncertainty, to make things happen at any cost. But spiritual truth often whispers the opposite. The moment you stop forcing, grace starts flowing. Many mistake surrender for defeat, as if letting go meant giving up. But in reality, surrender is not passivity. It's faith in motion. It's an act of courage that says, I trust that the invisible is wiser than my plans. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. When you surrender, you are not abandoning your goals. You are handing them back to the source that planted them within you. You're saying, I no longer need to control the timing or the method. I just need to stay aligned. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that show us our lives are not random. They're the fingerprints of divine order, gently guiding us even when we can't see the pattern. When you surrender, you move into harmony with that field of perfect timing. Suddenly, things that once felt delayed begin to unfold effortlessly. Calls arrive at the right hour. Ideas land in your mind like whispers. Hearts align. Imagine the universe as a grand tapestry. From up close, all you see are tangled threads, confusion, delays, and detours. But from the higher perspective, each color, each line, forms a masterpiece. Surrender is the moment you stop trying to weave your own patch alone and allow the divine weaver to complete the design. A real story brings this truth to life. There was a woman who prayed every night for financial stability. She was tired, scared, and felt like she was losing faith. One evening, she decided to change her prayer. Instead of begging, she simply said, God, I trust you. Show me what's next, in your way. The very next day, she received an unexpected message. A friend offering her a business opportunity she hadn't even known existed. That single act of surrender opened a door that striving never could. You see, surrender doesn't stop the universe from moving. It gives the universe permission to move through you. Here's where science meets spirit. When you surrender, your brain stops looping in fear. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for problem solving, finally quiets down. The body relaxes. In that space of openness, your perception expands. You start noticing synchronicities that were always there but hidden by tension. Faith widens your awareness to divine timing. A nightly reflection ritual. Before bed, Close your eyes and bring to mind something you've been trying to control. Whisper, "I release this to you." Align what is meant to be aligned. Move what is meant to move. Visualize your worries turning into small golden threads, rising toward the heavens, weaving themselves perfectly into the larger fabric of your life. Feel how light your body becomes when you stop gripping the outcome. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice how life begins to organize itself. Synchronicities will appear, not as miracles to impress you, but as reminders that you were never alone in the process. A parking spot showing up right when you need it. A job call right after you prayed for guidance. A conversation that gives you clarity without you even asking. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations. The universe doesn't need your attention, only your trust. Remember, surrender isn't the end of effort. It's the end of strain. It's faith with open hands instead of clenched fists. When you release control, you make room for the divine rhythm to move freely through your life. So tonight, rest in the awareness that everything that belongs to you is already making its way to you. You don't have to chase alignment, you simply have to trust it. While I sleep, heaven arranges what my heart can't. The threads are moving, the pattern is forming. Your only task now is to breathe, believe, and allow. Let go, and watch how perfectly everything begins to align. Topic 3, From Control to Rest, the Science of Faith. There's a quiet truth that many souls forget. Faith and control cannot coexist. One belongs to the heart, the other to fear. And every night, as we lie in bed replaying the day's worries, the universe gently asks, "Will you hold on? Or will you trust me enough to rest?" The need to control everything is often disguised as responsibility. But underneath it lives anxiety, the illusion that we must hold the world together with our thoughts. Yet spiritual science tells us something powerful. When we stop trying to fix everything, the nervous system begins to heal. Research from Harvard 2021 shows that people who consciously release control before sleep experience lower activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and overthinking. When trust replaces tension, your entire body shifts from fight or flight to rest and restore. Your heartbeat slows, your breath deepens, and your brain waves harmonize with peace. This is not just emotion, it's neurochemistry. Faith has a frequency, and your biology recognizes it as safety. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6:34. Jesus wasn't giving poetic advice. He was describing a neurological truth. Worry drains the life energy that faith restores. When you let go of tomorrow, you give your nervous system permission to return to the present, the only place where God's provision exists. A nightly ritual for release. Before bed, take a small notebook and write the title, "Things Outside My Control." List every thought that tries to follow you into sleep, the bills, the relationship, the unanswered questions. Then whisper aloud, "I release this to God." As you close the notebook, imagine a soft light surrounding those pages. Visualize that light rising from your room like gentle smoke, carrying your concerns into the hands of the divine. This practice doesn't ignore reality, it transforms your relationship with it. When you write down your worries, your brain shifts the load from emotional memory to logical processing, reducing mental rumination. In other words, you are telling your mind, "It's safe to stop now. God is awake. I can rest." Faith is not a passive state. It's a physiological state of alignment. When your body enters rest, your subconscious receives new instructions to trust, to expect goodness, to see opportunity where once there was fear. And as you awaken, your energy field, your vibration, begins to attract experiences that match that peace. What you release in trust always returns multiplied in grace. A real story illustrates this transformation. A man named Daniel had been struggling to find direction after losing his job. Each night he would stay awake, calculating, worrying, and planning. One evening, exhausted, he decided to try something new. He wrote every fear in his notebook and prayed, "God, I'm tired. I surrender the how. Just show me the next step." He slept deeply for the first time in months. The next morning, he woke with a sudden idea: to call a former colleague. That call led to a partnership that became his new career. Faith worked through rest, not through effort. The science of faith is simple. When your brain stops rehearsing fear, your soul becomes available for inspiration. Control blocks revelation. Rest invites it. Divine ideas need a calm atmosphere to land, just like seeds need still soil to take root. So tonight, when your mind begins to spin, whisper gently, "I don't need to solve this now. God is already in tomorrow." Then breathe deeply, feeling your chest rise and fall. Each exhale is a release. Each inhale, a quiet yes to divine order. Keep your surrender notebook beside your bed. Let it be your altar of peace, a reminder that faith is not found in trying harder, but in trusting deeper. And if doubt returns, remember, the same Creator who manages galaxies can manage your tomorrow. You were never meant to carry everything. You were meant to believe, rest, and allow. So close your eyes tonight, not in exhaustion, but in faith. Let your final thought be this: I let go of control so that grace can take over. Because the science of faith is also the art of peace. And in that peace, miracles find their way to you. Sleep knowing that everything outside your control is already inside God's hands. Miracles happen in the rhythm of rest. The world teaches us that progress comes from effort, that miracles are the result of endless striving. But heaven teaches something very different. Miracles move at the rhythm of rest. When your heart stops wrestling with the how and the when, divine timing begins to breathe. It's as if God Himself whispers, "Now that you've stopped trying to fix it, I can finally move." Pastor Joseph Prince often says, "Grace flows in rest," and he's right. True grace doesn't need to be chased. It appears when you finally sit down and trust. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Those words are not just an invitation to quiet. They're a reminder of power. Stillness is not emptiness. It's spiritual alignment. It's the moment when heaven and your soul vibrate on the same frequency. The science confirms it. When you rest in faith, your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural healing mode, activates. Your heart rate slows, your digestion improves, and your brain opens to insight. In stillness, intuition becomes louder than fear. That is why so many people receive ideas, clarity, or unexpected solutions after surrendering their anxiety. Rest creates the environment where revelation can be heard. When you are constantly anxious, your inner noise drowns out divine guidance. But the moment you breathe, you begin to notice the subtle whispers of intuition, the gentle nudge to call someone, to take a certain turn, to open your email at the perfect time. Those are not coincidences. They're the language of a universe that speaks fluently through peace. A real story illustrates this beautifully. A woman had been praying for healing, not just physical, but emotional. She kept pushing, fasting, doing everything right, but felt no change. One night, she felt an inner voice say, "Stop striving, just rest." She finally allowed herself to relax, to release control. Days later, without even realizing how, she noticed the pain had eased, not just in her body, but in her heart. Her miracle arrived not through effort, but through trusting rest. Rest is not inactivity. It's agreement with divine timing. When you stop forcing the door open, you make space for it to unlock on its own. Your rest becomes a signal to the universe. I believe it's already done. A nightly ritual for sacred rest. Before lying down, place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your stomach. Take a slow breath and repeat softly. The universe does not sleep. God is moving what I cannot move. Feel your breath synchronize with that truth. Each inhale reminds you of divine life flowing in. Each exhale releases your need to control. Visualize your worries melting away like ice under sunlight. The body remembers peace, and the more you practice this, the faster you enter deep rest. Your subconscious begins to recognize nighttime as a holy space of renewal, where heaven continues its silent work. Think of the seed buried in darkness. It does not panic about growth. It does not question if it's worthy of sunlight. It simply rests in the soil, trusting that the unseen will push it upward at the right moment. Your prosperity, your healing, your next step, they are just like that seed. They are germinating in the invisible. And just like the farmer doesn't dig up the soil each morning to check, you too must learn to rest in trust. Because miracles are not built by control, they are birthed by surrender. Rest is not what happens after the blessing. It's the condition that allows the blessing to arrive. If nothing seems to change right now, don't lose heart. The invisible realm is busy. The pieces are moving. The construction of your miracle is underway, brick by unseen brick. So tonight, resist the urge to measure progress. Instead, celebrate alignment. Let your prayer be simple and soft. While I rest, heaven builds. Then breathe. Feel your body soften into the safety of divine timing. Because the truth is, you are never behind and you are never forgotten. The rhythm of rest is the rhythm of miracles. Trust the silence. It's not the absence of movement, it's the sound of creation unfolding. Abundance comes when the heart relaxes. Have you noticed how blessings seem to appear when you finally stop trying so hard? When you take that deep breath and whisper, "I give up control," suddenly, life begins to flow again. That's not coincidence. That's the frequency of trust. Abundance isn't created through force. It flows through a relaxed heart, a heart that believes it's safe, guided, and already provided for. The same divine intelligence that moves galaxies is also managing your needs. The moment you stop vibrating in fear, you align with the current of provision that has always been waiting for you. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Those words are not just comfort, they're a vibrational truth. They declare a reality where lack cannot exist because divine guidance never fails. When your heart believes this deeply, your entire energy field begins to shift. Opportunities find you. Doors open. You don't chase. You attract. Science agrees. Studies show that anxiety narrows perception, literally making your brain ignore possibilities. But when you relax, your parasympathetic system activates, releasing serotonin and dopamine, the receptive chemicals that open you to inspiration, creativity, and intuitive clarity. Your mind stops scanning for danger and starts noticing opportunity. Relaxation, then, isn't laziness. It's spiritual intelligence, the practice of resting in abundance. Before you sleep, imagine a soft golden light descending over you, a warm, peaceful glow that covers your entire being. Visualize that light as divine provision, the energy of enoughness. Whisper, "I rest in divine provision. Everything I need is already on its way." Repeat it until your body feels lighter. This simple nightly ritual reprograms your subconscious to recognize that you are supported even when you do nothing. It becomes a sacred pattern of trust, your soul's permission slipped to receive. A real story confirms this truth. A man once shared that for months, he had prayed for a financial breakthrough, but every night, he went to sleep tense, worried, checking his bank account again and again. One evening, something inside him shifted. He prayed differently. "God, I know you've already arranged it. I'll stop worrying." That night, he slept deeply. The next morning, he received a message from a company he had applied to months earlier, not only offering him the job, but with a higher salary than he'd asked for. Coincidence? Or divine provision waiting for the heart to relax enough to receive? Abundance is not a chase. It's a state of openness. You can't receive with clenched fists. You can't attract peace while vibrating in panic. Relaxation is the doorway through which blessings walk in. The river never forces its way to the sea. It simply flows, guided by gravity, shaped by the land, trusting that every curve leads it closer to its destination. That's the rhythm of abundance. You are the river. Life is the sea. And faith is the current carrying you there. So when fear rises, when you look around and don't yet see the evidence, whisper softly, "Even now, I am guided. Even now, I am provided for." Let that phrase become your soul's lullaby, because provision is not something you earn through worry. It's something you align with through rest. A practical nightly exercise. Light a candle or imagine one glowing beside you. Place your hand over your heart and say, "I choose to rest in faith, not in fear. I choose to believe that everything I need already exists." Breathe slowly 3 times. With each exhale, imagine releasing tension. With each inhale, receive peace. The more you practice, the more you'll notice how life begins to mirror your inner calm. People will appear with the right words, opportunities will align without effort, and even your body will feel lighter. Because abundance isn't about having more, it's about trusting more. And the heart that trusts becomes a magnet for miracles. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember this. I am surrounded by divine provision. I rest in the flow of grace. Everything I need is already finding me. Sleep in that awareness. The universe is still working, and your only task now is to stay open. Relax your heart. Rest in faith. Let abundance find you. Rest in provision. Trust that the universe is working. There is a rhythm to divine provision, a frequency so soft that only a peaceful heart can hear it. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It moves not in chaos, but in calm. And every night, as the world grows quiet, heaven leans close and says, "You can rest now. I'm already working." You've walked through a journey tonight, from understanding that faith works while you sleep, to discovering that surrender isn't giving up, but allowing divine synchronicity to flow. You've learned that control exhausts the mind, but trust restores the body. You've seen that miracles bloom in the rhythm of rest, and that abundance flows when the heart relaxes. Each truth has been a gentle reminder: you were never meant to do this alone. You were meant to participate with creation, not through force, but through faith. Because God, the universe, the infinite source of love, whatever name speaks to your soul, is always working in the unseen. Take this moment to breathe deeply. Feel the sacred space around you. The same intelligence that guides the stars also guides your steps. The same love that sustains oceans also sustains your heartbeat. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4:6. The word thanksgiving here is not just an act, it's an attitude. When you give thanks before you see the answer, you step into the vibrational frequency of faith. And faith attracts what worry repels. A final nightly ritual, the prayer of rest. Before you sleep, place your hands over your heart and say softly, "I am safe. I am guided. I rest in divine provision. Lord, thank you for working in the unseen while I sleep." Visualize a radiant light surrounding you, a cocoon of divine peace. Let that light extend to your home, your loved ones, and every situation that still needs resolution. Whisper a blessing over them. May grace move where I cannot. Then imagine your thoughts dissolving like stars into the night sky. Countless sparks returning to the source of all creation. Feel how light you become when you no longer carry tomorrow. From a spiritual neuroscience view, this act of trust calms your amygdala, lowers cortisol, and opens neural pathways for creative insight. When you rest in faith, your mind receives divine guidance more easily. You begin to wake up not with anxiety, but with intuition. Ideas that come from a higher intelligence working through you. You see, rest is not the absence of action. It's the alignment of energy. It's the moment when your heart, mind, and spirit synchronize with heaven's rhythm. And in that vibration, all things begin to align. So tonight, choose not to chase the outcome. Choose to dwell in trust. Because while your eyes close to the visible world, the invisible one continues to build, arrange, and deliver. Faith doesn't rush. Faith simply rests, knowing it's already done. A blessing for your night. May your mind be still and your heart at peace. May the weight of worry fall away, like leaves in autumn. May your dreams be filled with light, guidance, and reassurance. May you awaken tomorrow surrounded by evidence that heaven never stopped working. Remember, the same grace that governs galaxies is the grace that governs your story. You are not forgotten. You are being guided, even in the silence. So breathe, rest, trust, and as you drift into sleep tonight, let this truth settle deep within you. While I rest, heaven works. Sleep in peace. The universe is still awake, arranging your miracles in perfect time.